Hello, good evening. This is Kelly from Kelly's Coffee and Crime Chat. Oh, it is Wednesday, July 31st. Wow, last day of July. Very special day for me. It's been 20 years since I met my husband on this day, this night. 20 years ago, it was a Saturday night, but we had a lot of fun and it was just a really good time. But I had no idea that that was going to be my husband. So, anyway, I wanted to get this going, this episode, because I want to get it up for early access, Patreon, and Spotify Premium, and then it will drop on the podcast Friday, August 2nd. If I can get it uploaded tonight, it will be early access tonight. We're having trouble with our internet. It took like hours for me to get the last one uploaded for Patreon and Spotify Premium. It was like, oh my gosh, I don't think this is going to work. I think I had to try it like 2 or 3 times, and then it finally worked. But anyway, it has been storming here. It stormed here this morning. So I'm hoping that I can get it uploaded tonight. I had Java Mama coffee this morning. I had Sanderson Sisters special. Now, the Sanderson Sisters, of course, is from the movie Hocus Pocus. It is now gone, but it will be back. It's usually back in October. And what it is, it's caramel and butter rum. Basically, if you take a Werther's original hard candy with a butterscotch lifesaver and put it together, that's what it tastes like. And oh my gosh, it is so good. I should have got 2 of them. So I had that this morning, but right now I am drinking from my Keurig. My mom gave me the Dunkin' Donuts coffee Turtle Love. It is good, but I miss my Java Mama. And the reason why I had it, because I need caffeine. And it was just sitting there by my Keurig, and I'm going to try it because I hadn't tried it yet. I hardly ever drink out of my Keurig because I usually drink from my ground coffee in my coffee pot. But the Keurig I use more in the wintertime because I get home and I want a nice hot cup of coffee. And I don't have very many Java Mamas left in the Keurig. But this it's very good. So it is the Turtle Love. If you like turtle candy, that's one flavor I wish Java Mama had. I can't remember if they've ever had turtle or not, but oh my gosh, it would be so good. But yes, I do like it. Okay, because Dunkin' Donuts is good coffee. I mean, yeah, I do drink other coffees, but Java Mama is my main coffee to drink. So I'm not going to lie and say I'm drinking Java Mama when I'm not. I'm just not going to do it. I can't do it. I just cannot do it. So anyway, this case I have for you today is one that I have not heard of this until just recently. It was a story on ID. I did not use that for my source, but it is featured on People Magazine Investigates. I Survived a Serial Killer, or Surviving a Serial Killer, I think it's called. And I caught it on there a while ago, but I didn't catch the whole thing. And I thought, who's this guy? I never heard of this guy. Well, there is a book about him. This is the case of Bruce Lindahl. I don't know if anybody's heard about him. I haven't, even living in Illinois. I have not heard about him. My sources are cbsnews.com, NBC Chicago online, wikipedia.org, and chicagotribune.com. Okay, Bruce Lindahl was born January 29th, 1953 in St. Charles, Illinois, to Jerome and Arlene. He was a graduate of Downers Grove North High School, and he had a well-known reputation with the girls. He also has a degree in electromechanics. He was a smooth talker with gorgeous blue eyes, and he loved parachuting and racquetball. And he worked as a teacher at Caneland Vocational School. He worked in auto repair, teaching auto repair. He did have this guy that he partied with a lot and kind of roomed with at a house, I think. I mean, I'll talk about later, but This guy's name was Dave Torres, and they were friends, and they did racquetball together. I don't know about the parachuting, but they played racquetball together. So he did a lot of that in his spare time or free time. It's one hobby, so it sounded to me like he was really into physically moving around, sporty type of hobbies, which is cool. Racquetball, I've always heard was a lot of fun. I would not be parachuting. You wouldn't catch me parachuting. But anyway, there was an incident when he was in high school. Usually Bruce, when you talk to him, you look at him, you talk to him, ooh, he's got the gorgeous blue eyes, and you talk to him and he's just a really all around nice guy. Nothing wrong with him. But there was an incident when he was in high school. He had a high school friend named Terry Cooper. She was a year younger than him. They were at a bowling alley. There was like a group of them at a bowling alley. He was into bowling too, because I read a couple times where he would meet people at bowling alleys. And, but he already knew Terry, and he asked Terry if he could give her a ride home. She said, no, I got my own car. But he kept on her about it. He wouldn't take no for an answer. He kept on her about taking her home. He even did something to her car so it wouldn't start. And fortunately, she never did go home with him. I don't know who she ended up going home with, someone else probably. She never did go home with him. And her brother had a run-in with Bruce years later. He saw Bruce trying to force a girl into his car. Now, see, they all knew each other. He knew him. He saw him trying to force a girl into his car, and he interfered so she could get away from him. Well, then he went after Terry's brother. I didn't get I don't think I wrote his name down. I don't think I got his name because he interfered. Well, he went after him and assaulted him, and he ended up getting 11 stitches in his face. So that was an assault right there. I don't think they called the police or anything. But, and then, he had a marijuana arrest in 1976. That was the first arrest I think that I read that he had. So he had the marijuana arrest, but people said he wasn't like addicted to marijuana or drugs or anything. He moved to Aurora in 1978. So you can kind of tell he's got a temper. Forcing girls into his car, so people who saw this gave him he gave them the creeps, and they just knew that there was another side to him. He has been compared with Ted Bundy too, by the way. But on March 6th of 1978, he offered to sell marijuana to a 20-year-old girl named Annette Lazar at his home. She came over because he was going to sell marijuana to her. And he let her in, but when she got inside, he raped her at gunpoint. Now, afterwards, she had to consent to him again to be intimately, not involved with him, but she had to consent to be intimate with him. So he let her go. And she went to the police, but they would not believe her. One thing that there was a policeman, Dave Torres, who I mentioned before. He was a cop and was a friend, of course, of Bruce's. Matter of fact, one source said that Bruce lived in his house. They roomed together, but Bruce said he never lived with him. Well, who do you believe? I mean, Dave Torres ended up selling his house to Bruce, and Bruce's known address was that house before he even bought that house. So, I think he was staying there, and Dave Torres must have bought some other place or moved out, and Bruce bought it from him. But he was a friend of his. They did not believe Annette at all about this, and so he was never charged with it. If they would have got him right then and there would have been quite a few lives saved. On December 22nd, he attacked a northern Aurora woman who was 30 years old. She also contacted police. They showed her a lot of photos, quite a few photos of the men, so how you can kind of pick out which one that did this. Well, she picked one out, but it was not Bruce's picture because his picture was not in the stack. His picture wasn't there. So she picked out somebody else she thought was him. And it just So he didn't go down for that one. Now he tried to extort people by tapping and recording their phone calls. And this was in January of 1981. And I don't know how he did that. I would think at that time, in order to do that, you would either have to work for the police station, which of course he had a police friend, but you would either have to work for a police station or work for the phone company. And I never heard that he worked for either of those. I have no idea how you would tap into a phone. So he must have had some kind of skills on that one. Well, it says he would do that, and then he would try to extort them. I don't know exactly what he heard them talking about or who the people were, but they did find out that he did this. Oh, I just had to have a drink. Now, they did find out that he did this, and he ended up assaulting an officer and was charged with resisting arrest and illegal weapons, the possession of illegal weapons, plus assault. But he got out on bail. He would pay his own bail, so he would get out on bail. Now, police pulled him over another time because they saw a woman in his passenger seat who was bleeding from her head, and she was also unconscious. He claimed to be taking her to the hospital, but he wasn't going that way. He was going in a totally other direction. So they called an ambulance for her. They found out she had been raped. She said, because she was at the hospital, and she said that he drugged her at a party. She had no recollection of what happened, so no charges were filed against him. Now, back in 1976, Pamela Maurer, that's Maurer, 16 years old, was a junior at Downers Grove South High School. And let's see, she was, trying to turn the page here. Okay, she was at a friend's house in Lindahl, Illinois. She left to go to a McDonald's to buy a soda at 9:45 at night, and she never came back to the friend's house. Her purse and her ID was found on the side of a road by just a random person, and so they called the police. They found her, they got the purse, then they ended up finding her body the following day, and she had been strangled and raped. But they never found out who it was. In 1970, or who did it. So in 1979, 3 years later, 16-year-old Deborah McCall left Downers Grove High School on November 5th and was never seen again. On June 23rd of 1980, 25-year-old Deborah Colliander, Colliander, Lindahl took her to his apartment and raped her. She told police he was arrested. And then, guess what? He got out on bail, paid his own bail. Now, she pressed charges, and there was a trial scheduled for the following year. Now, this happened in 1980. The trial was to be in 1981. Well, she disappeared on October 7th of 1980 after leaving work. Then the trial was canceled. Her body was found in 1982 in decomposition. A man came forward and told Aurora police that Bruce asked him to kill Deborah for payment because she was going to go to trial and put him away. And they knew Bruce killed her after this information, after that person came forward and told him that he offered to pay him to kill her. So they knew that that he did this. April 4th of 1981, Bruce was driving around in Naperville, Illinois. Okay, now, I don't know why they didn't get him for this. I mean, I guess maybe they couldn't prove it. I don't know. I just read that they knew he did it because this guy said, because they found her body in 1982. Okay, so now I'm going back to 1981. I'm even confusing myself. So that was in 1982 that happened. That was after they found her body. But 1981, so this is a year before they found her, Bruce was driving around Naperville, Illinois. He met an 18-year-old named Charles Huber Jr. They did some bowling, and Bruce mentioned going back to his place, to his girlfriend's place, to drink, have some drinks, So this Charles guy, he agreed to go. So after getting to Bruce's apartment, there was no girl. It wasn't a girlfriend's house. It was his apartment. So he must have had an apartment at this time. Bruce went after Charles, stabbing him 28 times with a knife. But this is the thing. He somehow stabbed himself in his thigh, severing his femoral artery. Femoral. That is the main entry to the thigh and leg. And he had really some deep bleeding from that. He died right there next to his victim. Both of them died. Bruce Lindahl was 28 years old. Isn't that something? He didn't even go to prison. And then I'm thinking, well, this is probably why I've never heard of this guy. Because it wasn't it was big at the time. It's a good thing he did get killed, though, because who knows how many other people would have gotten killed. So that was in 1980 when he died. And then in 1982, they found Deborah's body, the one that was going to the Colliander, if I can say her last name right. She was going to testify against him. I never did hear if they found out that he killed Deborah McCall when she left Downers Grove High School in 1979. It was never seen again. I never found out if he was the one who killed her. But in 2019, genealogy DNA found out one of Bruce Lindahl's relatives matched his DNA from Pamela Maurer's body, the 1976 case where she went to McDonald's and bought a soda. Bruce was named as her killer in January of 2020 from DNA. So that one is solved. And who knows how many more this guy is responsible for. There could be a lot more. So they know he killed Pamela Maurer, Deborah Colliander, and the Charles Huber Jr. Like I said, Deborah McCall might be the one that's still up in the air. I have not actually heard that he killed her. He had so many attacks and so many rapes that if he would not have gotten killed when he would not have accidentally killed himself, there'd have been a lot more people raped, attacked, and murdered. I also read where he actually raped young men too. I didn't read where there were any the actual victims of this, but I did read that he raped young men and young women. Oh my gosh. There is a book on this. It's called Murder in the Fox Valley, and it is by Jim Writings. I tried to look it up on Audible. I couldn't find it on Audible, but it is on Amazon for like $20 or $21. I don't know if it's paperback, hardcover, but I'm going to have the cover of that in my photo dump. Like I said, this is one serial killer I've not heard of. He has been compared with Ted Bundy, except Ted Bundy, again, was getting away and getting off on things. But then he would always get caught and then get off and then get caught. Finally, they got him. I have not covered that case just because it's so big and so many other podcasts have covered it. There's so many movies on it. So I have not done that. I have not done that one. I have not done John Wayne Gacy for the same reason. Those two are really, really big cases. Same with Dahmer. But I try to I like talking about ones like these that nobody's heard of. I have never heard. I mean, I'm sure some people have heard of this guy. I have not. Like it just didn't seem like it was a big case. Probably because all these other ones overshadowed it, like Ted Bundy. And especially since he never went to prison, he accidentally killed himself early on, which in my opinion is a good thing. It wasn't like a big case where he went to prison and all that. But I had no idea that was the outcome of this. Like I said, I caught a little bit of it on People Magazine Investigates, but I never saw the whole thing until I read this, that he actually did this. I had no idea that he accidentally killed himself while he was right after he murdered his last victim. Oh my gosh. These monsters, I tell you, he was a monster. And like I said, he had gorgeous blue eyes and the girls liked him. He was I'm sure he was charming. He was a smooth talker, like, And yeah, he was probably very easy to get along with. Ted Bundy was the same way, but boy, you flip that switch and they turn just the opposite into a whole other person. It's amazing to me that people can do that. It's just amazing to me. So never trust anybody, not even a pretty face, you know. Well, okay, that's the story of Bruce Lindahl. And this will drop Friday, August 2nd. I hope everyone has had a wonderful July. We are now coming into August with fall coming after, and I'm so excited because that is my favorite season. I cannot wait for the cool, crisp air and the leaves turning, and I'm just so excited. And I love around that time when I do my crafting, because I like to do a lot of fall crafting, and I think it's the artist in me. I don't know, but I just love the color of the leaves. Ever since I was little, I always loved that season. I haven't watched much of, because our internet's been messing up. I did start Cobra Kai on Netflix. The new season, I love that show. The new season, they're only showing, I think, 5 episodes or 6, 5 maybe, and then the other 5, or the rest of it's going to be shown at a later time. So I started watching the 4th or 5th one, and the internet messed up, so I've got 1 episode left. And man, that's a good show. Gosh, I just love that show. It's just one of the, this will probably be the last season, I think. I'm not sure, but it's just one of those I love. It was like Stranger Things. I love that. And I thought there was going to be another season of that, but I haven't seen it yet. So, but, and then for the first time I watched the movie Pitch Perfect. I had never seen that. And my sister-in-law and brother-in-law were up here from Texas last month, and they were like, you got to see this, it's so funny. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. So anyway, and Todd, my husband, is like, I don't know either. So Todd was over there with them at his parents' house one night real late, and he watched it and said it was funny. So it just I was just looking for something, and I think I watched it, and the internet was messing up, but I got it back when I was watching it. So it was on, I think, Peacock or Max. I don't remember which one it was, because I got so many channels. But it was funny. If you get a chance and you just want to watch something, there's nothing on, you want to watch something if you haven't seen it. At first I'm like, oh, this is going to be so stupid. But then it did get funny. It had some really good funny parts in it. So, but as far as ID shows, I have not watched any new ones yet. I did watch American Monster last week. Every Sunday night, a new one. But this season seems like it's always about the husband killing the wife. Every episode is basically the same. The only one that was different was about the guy that killed his mother. And I had heard of that before. And I forgot the guy's name. He ended up killing his mother. It's horrible what he did to his parents. He was like an only child, and they spoiled him. And he was mean. He had such a mean streak. But all the other episodes are, so far this season, because when I talked about the Randy Trimble episode on Patreon and Spotify Premium, that was in the first season of American Monster, and I liked it so much better back then because they never told you who the killer was at the beginning. They never told you, and now the last few seasons they've been telling you, so it's like you already know. And I liked it before when you didn't know. I have quite a few episodes up on Patreon and Spotify Premium. So it is $5 and you can listen to all of them, and it's 3 bonus episodes a month. And I started it September of last year. We're coming up almost a year that I've done Patreon and Spotify Premium. And they're both the same price and they're both the same episodes. So you get early access on some, and then you get 3 bonus ones a month. I think there was 1 month where I did not get the bonus one, and there was only 1 month where I didn't get the 3rd bonus one in. And that's because of everything going on with my dad passing away and everything. So you get at least two. Most of the months you get 3 bonus episodes. I was surprised I could make 3 a month and still do this podcast for 1 a week, because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. So I have 3 bonus episodes a month on there, and they're from everywhere. They're from all over the country, United States. I think there's only one I did that was in England, and they're ones that some of them are based on, that movies are based on. So if you want to sign up for that, you can pay $5, listen to all of them in 1 month. And then, you can keep it or you can cancel it. It's actually a pretty good deal. But it's, or you can keep it for a couple months. And the money, I do donate half of everybody's proceeds. It's $5. So I donate like $2.50, right around $2 or $2.50 of everybody together to a cause, the Charlie Project, which is for missing persons, and which is online. And I also I donated this last time to from the Randy Trimble episode, Randy's House of Angels, which helps children and teens of domestic violence. So I donated to them. So it's very good to do that, because your money does go to causes for missing persons or charities that help other people or that help victims. So that is all for today. I want to thank everybody for your support. If you cannot join, do the $5 or the join, you can always leave me a review on Apple Podcasts, or rate the podcast on Spotify, which is where you hit the 3 little dots and then it'll come up and say rate show, and you click that and then you can fill in the stars. So if you can give me a 5-star rating, it'd be very, very helpful. Or a 4 or 5, whatever. So I want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend, and hope you had a wonderful July, and we're looking forward to August, and I hope everything will be good this month for everybody. So keep those suggestions coming. If you have any suggestions of any other cases that you want me to talk about that have not been heard very much around the Midwest, or even out a little further than the Midwest, and you really want me to do the case, I will do them. So just let me know. My email and everything will be in the show notes. So everybody have a good one, and I will see you next time.